Your Bible in hand, Matthew 4:1 following. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And after he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he then became hungry. And the tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." But Jesus answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God." Verse 5. Then the devil took him into the holy city and had him stand on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and their hands will bear you up so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." Verse 7, Jesus said to the devil, "On the other hand, it is written, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him up to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, "All these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." Then Jesus said to him, "Go, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Then the devil left him, and behold, the angels came and began to minister to Jesus. A prominent senator finished a busy day in the halls of Congress, and with some of his associates, he went to a bar that was close to the Capitol, enjoyed a time of sharing and laughter, as it is called happy hour. And when he came out, he looked and crossed the street, and a car coming at a great rate of speed hit the senator, knocked him down, rushed to the hospital. He died on the way to get help. This senator was taken up, and stood outside the pearly gates. And St. Pete came out and said, "You know, we don't know what to do with you. It's been so long since we've had somebody of your station and rank, a member of the U.S. Senate, that we don't know how to handle you exactly." And the senator said, "I just want to get in." He said, "Yeah, but I've got a word from the higher up that you need to spend a day in hell, 24 hours, and a day in heaven, 24 hours, and then you can decide where you want to spend eternity." He said, "Sounds good to me." And so they put him in the elevator, and he goes down, 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 down into hell, and they open the door, and whoa! There before him was a golf course more magnificent than the Augusta National. I mean, there were flowers, and they had a mountain view on one side, an ocean view on the other, and it was a spectacular moment. And he went into a fabulous facility. I mean, had appointed every appointment of architecture, and there were all of his old friends he'd known through the years, and they welcomed him and hugged him, and they laughed, and they shared stories together, and they had caviar and champagne, and they had dancing, and the afternoon they went on a cruise on a beautiful yacht, and then they went back to a magnificent meal, and Frank Sinatra was running around singing "I Did It My Way" all during the meal, and there was Marilyn Monroe, and I mean, he had never been in such an elite group, and it was just fun and celebration and laughter and activity, and he'd never had that much caviar in his life. It was fabulous. And then before he knew it, 24 hours had passed, and the guide said, "We have to go." So he got on the elevator, and he went out of hell, up, all the way into heaven. And they opened the doors of heaven, and there was the clouds floating, and there were saints singing praises to God, and the glory and the awesomeness of the Almighty, and all of his creative juices began to stir, and his 6 senses became 15 senses, and there was a sense of awesomeness and worshipfulness and praise and adoration. And he knew there was much more to this. There was so much more beyond throughout all eternity. But before he knew it, 24 hours had passed, and his guide took him out of heaven, and he went back in front of St. Peter. And St. Peter said, "You make the choice. Where do you want to spend eternity? You have to choose." The senator dropped his head and said, "You know, I would never have thought this before. But I'll tell you, I'd rather spend eternity in hell. You know, I just felt more at home there." And so Pete said, "Okay." Put him on the elevator. He went down, 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 down. And then the doors opened, and whew, there was barrenness, just bleak, dark, and there was a stench. And there were all of his friends there in rags and boils and in pain and agony, and there was disease and suffering and moaning and crying, and the air was just insufferable, and the heat was just overbearing, and it was a horrible, deadening feeling. And the devil came over to him and put his arm around the senator and said, "Welcome, welcome. You'll be here with us throughout all eternity." And the senator said, "What happened? I was only here yesterday." And the devil said, "Yesterday, we were campaigning." He said, "Today, you voted."